today? Good. Well, at least the weather stayed sort of alright for us, so we've got that on our side. Right, we'll get down to business. We're gathered here today to celebrate the marriage of great disdain and opportunity, the child of which is hope. This child is Magna Carta, a blank canvas on which we together can paint a brighter and more prosperous future for the entirety of humanity. So I take that is you're all in then, cool. Some of you may be a little bit confused by, by that if you're new here. You may have just read a leaflet today and decided to come along, so please allow me to explain. We are still suffering from a crisis. Not just a financial crisis, but of confidence too. Confidence in our leaders, our governments and our financial institutions to nurture a stable and prosperous environment for the progression of humanity. A progression which has been severely halted since the turn of the century, even though it wasn't all that great beforehand either. But we have reached a tipping point. Currently, 1,610 countries globally, countries, have been occupied in the same way that we are occupying George Square here in Glasgow today. And for the same reasons. This is 300 more than just 1 week ago, which is a staggering and truly quite phenomenal amount to have gained in a week. Approximately 3 million and counting individuals are involved, and that number is growing by the day. It probably took a little jump today because of all of you turning up. So it is time for us to place confidence in one another instead of in faceless and disrespectful institutions. Thank you. These 3 million individuals are demanding genuine social change and an end to political capitalism. We do not want our governments to be led by money over morals anymore, and we are here to make that heard. We deserve to make that heard. We are here to tell the 1% of the population with the lion's share of the wealth that we are the 99% and we are not playing into their hands anymore. By occupying these spaces in cities across the globe, the discourse has started. It is a conversation that has been waiting a long time to happen for a good many years, and we should be hugely excited by this prospect. The golden opportunity to evolve our system past the infantile stage it is at now into a progressive stage where we develop, grow and learn as opposed to destroy, steal and struggle. We can only do this together. I want to talk you all through the 9 initial statement points. These were decided upon at St Paul's Cathedral, where Occupy London is being staged, by a consensus of 500 people, probably roughly about the same amount of people that are here today. When we read them, we couldn't argue here at Occupy Glasgow, so we're going to put them to the test. Here's how it works, and David, maybe you could be my, yeah, totally. I'll read each point out one by one, and if you agree, you throw your hands in the air and give them some jazz. If you're feeling a little passive, shake them about in the middle, and if you downright disagree, get them low. Okay, so number 1, the current system is unsustainable. It is undemocratic and unjust. We need alternatives. This is where we work towards that. Number 2, we are of all ethnicities, genders, generations, sexualities, disabilities and abilities, and faiths. We stand together with occupations all over the world. Number 3, we refuse to pay for the bank's crisis. Number 4, we do not accept the cuts as either necessary or inevitable. We demand an end to global tax injustice and our democracy representing corporations instead of people. Yes! 5. We want regulators to be genuinely independent of the industries that they regulate. Number 6. We support the strike on the 30th of November and the student action on the 9th of November, and actions to defend our health services, welfare, education and employment. Number 7. We want structural change towards authentic global equality. The world's resources must go towards caring for people and the planet, not the military, corporate profits or the rich. Number 8. We stand in solidarity with the globally oppressed, and we call for an end to the actions of our government and others causing this oppression. And finally, number 9. This is what democracy looks like, so come and join us. So those are the points of the initial statement. This is preliminary and will evolve to cater for factors such as locality and cultural differences. But for that to happen, we must work together. What does everyone think? I figured as much. So on that note, please enjoy the festivities of the day, and thank you very much for being alive.
I think I can speak for everyone here that what we're doing here is a brilliant thing. And I think around the world, what we've actually agreed, and I've actually heard now it's over 2,000 cities this is happening around the world. And one thing we've pretty much agreed on worldwide is that we need to remove the influence of money out of politics, so we can have our politicians represent us and not corporations. And I don't think that's too much to ask. And a criticism of the movement that's happening around the world is that people say we don't know what we're here about. And I mean, I think it's actually very clear why we're here. We're here to facilitate the creation of a platform from which we can start to talk about the problems and how to solve them. And just to keep it very simple, this is democracy in action. We are a democratic movement for change. And that's why we're all here today, and thank you very much for your support.
Right. Far too many people for me to say anything remotely sensible, so I'll stick to this list. This is a list of the people that have come forward to speak to us today and tell us a little bit about the local concerns that we have here in Glasgow, tell us a bit about the struggle for democracy on our doorstep, and hopefully how we can get involved and further those causes. So first of all, I'd like to invite Margaret Woods from the campaign to welcome reforms, I believe?
Refugees.
Refugees, even better. Well, reforms and refugees, all welcome. Okay, Margaret Woods.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, I just love to think today that we are part of a global movement of people all over the world standing up for all of us who are in poverty, everyone who suffers from disasters, floods, people who suffer from war, armed by our governments, of course, and the arms corporations, people who need to stick together to take on the rich, the powerful and the wealthy in this world and say we are not going to put up with it anymore. Yeah! And you'll notice money travels all over the world. Press of a button, money goes everywhere. The rich travel all over the world. The rich have houses in different countries, flats in Paris, yachts in the Mediterranean. Refugees who fled the most appalling torture, dictatorships, war, every type of horror you can imagine, and many you wouldn't like to imagine. They come here to this country because they imagine Britain sticks up for human rights. Britain is a decent democracy. The British government will always look after you. And what happens is they find themselves treated like criminals, told that they're lying, told that they're scroungers, not allowed to work even though they want to work, and just simply, ultimately, after being pushed from pillar to post, intimidated, threatened, dumped here and there, they're finally dragged out their houses by armed thugs, put in detention centres and sent back to the horrors they came from.
Excuse me, can you put it right up to your mouth?
Sorry, hope people can hear me. So people are sent back by our government. Thousands of them have been sent up here, and they have revolutionised life in Glasgow. I'm sure everyone sees people all the time now. They've just made Glasgow multicultural. And that's what I'm sure everyone here wants to see: multicultural societies, multicultural cities, a multicultural world where we all look after each other. And we don't blame people with a different skin colour for the problems that the rich have caused us, and the corporations have caused us, and the arms industry has caused us. All the dictatorships that are friends of our Western governments have caused us. So Glasgow, ordinary people have opened their arms and their purses and their hearts to refugees in the city, but there are still serious problems, and our campaign tries to help. It tries to stop removals. It's trying to get that obscenity called the Gable Detention Centre, a camp for refugees in the middle of nowhere in Lanarkshire, shut down. It's now about to be run by the organisation that used to be an absolutely appalling human rights abusing, thuggish multinational company, and we've been trying to get that shut down. We've been trying to get that shut down, and we have been trying to stop, for instance, the shutting of the unit at Shawlands Academy, which is simply part of the council's cuts. They're trying to shut the unit that lets kids learn English before they go into the classrooms, the mainstream classrooms. Imagine if your kid had to go into classes without knowing the language. They're trying to shut that unit down. I've also got cards here that you can send to the Home Secretary, because such is our justice system, such is our asylum and immigration system in this country, that 250 people are indefinitely detained for the crime of seeking asylum here. More than a year, up to 5.5 years. Some of them now going crazy, really going mad in their cells, because they don't know why they're there. Their lives are destroyed, many of them have been tortured, and our government is keeping them in there. And we're trying to get as many signatures as possible. We're demanding an end to that detention, to all detention. We're demanding an end to these asylum and immigration laws. We're demanding an end to people being scapegoated because of the colour of their skin or the country they came from. We are saying to the government, we are all brothers and sisters here and across the world. Everybody who wants to come to Scotland and live and work and make their home here is welcome here, and we all stand together against the wealthy, the governments that support the wealthy, and the multinational companies, the warmongers, the arms dealers. I would ask you to support our campaign. Send your postcard off. Welcome the refugees to this city, and let's keep up the fight and make sure we win. Yeah!